Are the Golden State Warriors blind to the perfect solution that's been dancing right in front of them for over a year? While everyone's getting caught up in the Jordan Poole trade circus and Kristaps Porzingis heading to Atlanta, there's a veteran big man who just landed in the perfect spot for the Warriors to finally make their move. And here's the kicker. They've been chasing this guy for 18 months like a lovesick teenager, but somehow keep missing their shot. The trade domino effect that changes everything. Let's set the stage here, because what happened in the last 24 hours isn't just your typical NBA trade shuffle. It's a masterclass in how one move creates opportunities 3 steps down the line. Jordan Poole, the former Warriors guard who became persona non grata in the Bay Area, just got shipped from Washington to New Orleans in a deal that also moved CJ McCollum to the Wizards. But here's where it gets juicy. Tucked into this trade like a hidden treasure is Kelly Olynyk, the 6 feet 11 inches stretch big who's been on Golden State's wish list longer than most players stay in the league. The 34-year-old Canadian just landed in Washington, and if you're Steve Kerr or Mike Dunleavy Jr., you should be salivating right about now. Why? Because Washington just became the NBA's equivalent of a fire sale, and Olynyk is sitting there like a marked-down luxury item that nobody else seems to notice. The 18-month courtship that never quite happened, this isn't some new infatuation for the Warriors front office. We're talking about a relationship that's been brewing since the 2024 trade deadline when Golden State had serious conversations with the Utah Jazz about acquiring Olynyk. The deal never materialized, and Olynyk ended up in Toronto instead. Then, just when it seemed like another opportunity might present itself, he got moved to New Orleans before the Warriors could make their move. It's like watching your crush get passed around to everyone except you, frustrating, maddening, but somehow making you want them even more. Jake Fisher from Bleacher Report has been hammering this connection for months, mentioning Olynyk as a perfect fit for Golden State's needs not once, but multiple times. Most recently, he grouped Olynyk with Nikola Vucevic and Brook Lopez as potential Warriors targets this offseason. But here's the thing. While Vucevic and Lopez might require significant assets to acquire, Olynyk just landed in the perfect storm situation. Washington's fire sale, a Warriors fan's dream scenario. Let's talk about what Washington just became overnight. The Wizards now have a roster that screams development mode, with young talent like Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, and Bub Carrington needing minutes and touches. But they're also carrying veteran contracts like Olynyk, McCollum, Chris Middleton, and Marcus Smart, all on expiring deals. This is GM Mathematics 101. You don't pay veterans big money to take minutes away from your developing stars. Washington's priority is crystal clear. Get these young guys as much run as possible while figuring out who belongs in their long-term plans. The veteran quartet becomes expendable and, in some cases, actively harmful to their development goals. For the Warriors, this creates a golden opportunity. Washington might be motivated to move Olynyk not just for assets, but to clear the deck for their youth movement. That's leverage Golden State hasn't had in previous negotiations. The perfect fit that everyone's overlooking. Here's what makes this so perfect for the Warriors. Olynyk brings exactly what Golden State desperately needs without requiring them to fundamentally change their identity. At 6 feet 11 inches, he gives them legitimate size in the front court. His shooting ability, career 37.1% from three-point range, provides the floor spacing that makes their motion offense so deadly. But it's the little things that make Olynyk special for this Warrior system. He's not just a catch-and-shoot big man. He can put the ball on the floor, make decisions in the short roll, and create advantages with his passing. His 3.6 assists per game with New Orleans last season weren't a fluke. This is a player who understands how to play within a system that values ball movement and basketball IQ. During his stint with the Pelicans after the trade deadline, Olynyk posted impressive numbers: 10.7 points, 5.9 rebounds, and those 3.6 assists while shooting an efficient 50% from the field and 38.9% from beyond the arc. These aren't empty stats from a bad team. This was productive basketball for a playoff contending squad. The Kerr factor. Why this makes perfect sense. Steve Kerr has always valued versatility and basketball intelligence over pure athleticism, and Olynyk embodies both qualities. At this stage of his career, he's not going to be your starting center against Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, but he doesn't need to be. The Warriors need someone who can come off the bench, provide 20 to 25 quality minutes, and give them options they simply don't have right now. Imagine the lineups Kerr could deploy with Olynyk in the mix. You could go small with him at center, alongside Draymond Green at the 4. You could play him alongside Kevin Looney for maximum size. He gives you the flexibility to match up against different styles without sacrificing the spacing that makes Golden State's offense so potent. The numbers game. Why this deal makes sense. Olynyk's $13.4 million expiring contract is the perfect trade chip size for the Warriors. It's large enough to make salary matching work without being so massive that it hamstrings their future flexibility. For a team that's been trying to balance win-now mode with financial responsibility, Olynyk represents the sweet spot. Even better, there's a scenario where Washington simply buys him out if they can't find a suitable trade partner. The Wizards might prefer to just clear the salary and roster spot rather than take back contracts that don't fit their timeline. If that happens, Golden State could potentially add Olynyk without giving up any assets at all. The championship window reality, check. Let's be brutally honest about where the Warriors are right now. Stephen Curry is 36 years old and still playing at an elite level, but Father Time is undefeated. This isn't a franchise that can afford to wait for the perfect opportunity or hold onto assets for some hypothetical future trade. They need to maximize every season they have left with their core intact. Olynyk isn't going to single-handedly win them a championship, but he could be the type of complementary piece that makes the difference in a playoff series. Role players with his skill set and experience don't grow on trees, especially ones available at his price point. The urgency factor. Strike while the iron is hot. Here's the thing about NBA trades. Timing is everything. Right now, Washington is in chaos mode, trying to figure out their roster construction, and likely motivated to move veteran contracts. In a month or two, other teams will start circling these same players, driving up the price and creating competition for Golden State. The Warriors have been patient with Olynyk for 18 months, but patience can turn into procrastination if you're not careful. This is their moment. Washington needs to move veterans. Olynyk fills a clear need, and the financial structure makes sense for both sides. The bottom line, stop overthinking and make the move. Sometimes the best moves are the obvious ones. Kelly Olynyk has been on Golden State's radar for over a year. He just landed in the perfect trade situation, and he addresses multiple needs on their roster. The stars have aligned in a way that rarely happens in professional sports. The question isn't whether Olynyk would help the Warriors, it's whether they're going to finally pull the trigger on a move they've been contemplating for 18 months. In a league where championship windows close faster than you can blink, overthinking can be just as dangerous as making the wrong move. Golden State has spent years being patient and calculated. Now it's time to be aggressive. Kelly Olynyk is sitting there waiting. Washington wants to move him, and the Warriors need exactly what he brings. Sometimes the most obvious answer is the right answer. What do you think? Is Kelly Olynyk the missing piece the Warriors need, or should they aim higher? Let me know in the comments below, and smash that like button if you think it's time for Golden State to stop overthinking and make this deal happen.